There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite. Yeah, yeah, when we unite. Yeah, yeah, welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
You are welcome here. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, good day to you wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for saying yes to life. And as you tune in to yourself, you get to listen. As you listen, you give yourself permission. You create the opportunity to be transformed because you're present, you're aligned. My name is Ade. I am your transformational agent, your beingness artist, your producer, co-producer, and technician. This is Ade Presents Being You, the journey back to yourself. Season 2, episode 27. Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. Woo-wee. So, if you don't know, maybe some of you don't know what's going on in the world, but today is the final day of the elections in America. Just in case you didn't know, it's not really a big news, but I just want to be the first one to tell you there is an election taking place. And it's not just an American thing because the influence of America is global. So really, in essence, there's an election. People are voting on our behalf or not voting on our behalf, making choices. And I'm so grateful Rev D's here today. Spirit couldn't have planned it any better. Because if there's anyone I would like to talk to today about what's going on, this awakening for humanity on so many levels, it's definitely Rev D. And that's not to take anything away from my other people, friends, mentors, teachers that I know. But Rev D just has a way of presenting moments like this to us in a way that it can be digested, as well as for those of us who are spiritual that don't do politics. It's just too much. I don't want to. Politics just lowers my vibration. Well, if you're one of those people that didn't do politics, it's doing you now. Politics is doing us all. So we just have to breathe and relax. Don't push, just relax. You should have done politics when it was easy. Like another friend of mine used to say, I think it's like no grease right now. I'm not going to explain that. If you don't get it, don't worry. But if you get it, you know what I mean. No grease. And he ain't even started or over yet. Anyway. Woo! Okay. Let me invite you to join us on the Being You podcast page on Facebook, where you can have a better experience of chatting. That's if I have someone working behind the scene with me. I don't. India is not here today, so it's just me. And so we'll just create what we can create. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling? And, I invite you to just take a breath and just ground yourself in this moment. Ground yourself in what is breathing you. And understand that life is doing what life is doing, and we are feeling it on some level, yet there is a power, there's a presence that is bigger than all that we are feeling, whether we're excited or not excited, whether we're afraid, whether we're anxious. There is a power and presence within you, within me, that is orchestrated, and our responsibility is to align with that power. And when we align with that power, we get to change the vibration and the frequency of what's happening in the world. So right now, this election, as we've been told, we've been elected to show up, to be the president of our own individual lives, so we can create something together, collectively. And as you do that, I want to invite you to take a look at how you see yourself today in this moment. And even if you're listening to this, watching this on another day, it still applies. Truth is timeless. How do you see yourself? How do you see the world? How do you see yourself in the world, and how do you see the world in you? This is love's invitation. When you're willing to do that, you might just catch a new awareness about yourself, a new insight. You might just realize that you are powerful, that you're amazing, that you're one with the great I am. And in that space, you can make different choices. From that place, you can ask yourself, what do I want to see, and speak it and live each day in service to what you want to see, not what you're hoping somebody else will do for you. That's the topic. What do you want to see? Amy, nice to see you on Instagram. Thank you for being here. I'm going to bring Rev D on. Let me just check chat real quick. Teresa. Oh my gosh, indeed. I am too much here. I'm just saying. Teresa said, oh my gosh, you're too much. I haven't even started yet. Well, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Jackie, New Jace. We have, let me scroll up. Oh, I thought I saw somebody else in here. So I'm going to acknowledge you now. Tamara is in here too. Nice to see you, Tamara. Sonia must be here. Sonia, I don't know if Sonia is here, but Sonia needs to be here because this is the only place to be. If you want to stay sane, I'm telling you, whether you're on line up right now to vote or you voted, this is a place to be. Hey, I'm just telling you I'm telling you what I know. So let me tell you what else I know. I can tell you about my sister, my friend, my mentor. I love Rev D. She is a lifelong social justice activist. And the devilish, what do they call it? There's a something, my evil twin. My evil twin wants to do this. I'm going to give my evil twin permission. Reverend Dr. Deborah L. Johnson is a lifelong social justice activist with a passion for healing social, political, and cultural divide. She's been telling you. Y'all like, we'll get to that later. She has been ringing the bell. Say, come on, get it together. RFD, I got to meditate. She is the founder of Inner Light Ministries, board member of the Pachamama Alliance, and founding member with Michael Bernard Beckwith of Agape International Spiritual Center. She is the author of The Sacred Yes, Your Deepest Intent. If you go to the deepest intent, there are chapters about this time that we're living in. We've been telling you to find out more about her. Oh, my evil twin needs to sit down now. Okay, calm down. To find out more about Rev D, her website address is DeborahLJohnson.org, Deborah with an H, LJohnson.org. And also check out Inner Light Ministries because there are lots of classes that you could be part of. Whatever happens today, I know who I'm voting for, and I'm going to say it out loud. Biden. If you're going to stop listening, so be it. However, if you are Biden, Kamala Harris team, when they win, things ain't back to normal. It just means we keep going. But anyway, innerlightministries.org is that place where you can have tools and resources, spiritual soul food to support you in guiding you and directing you in how to navigate what's ahead of us. It ain't over yet after tonight. This is just the beginning of another phase. To find out more about Rev D on Facebook, Reverend Deborah Johnson on Facebook. You can find her on Twitter too, at Deborah_Rev. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, psychics and skeptics, physical beings, oh goodness, physical beings and non-physical beings, ancestors and guides, help me welcome my sister, my mentor, my friend, myself, Reverend Deborah L. Johnson, Rev D. Woo! Rev
Hey,
D, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're alive. I'm not even kidding.
Woo! Well, good day to you, my brother.
Good day, good day, good day. I am so glad our time together is on this day.
Yep, that's quite fortuitous, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And the funny thing about it, when I started doing my podcast live with video, you were my first guest. Actually, I wasn't thinking of doing my podcast live on video. It was that day I heard, this is now how you do your podcast. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not ready for video yet.
Yeah, we've been hanging for a while.
Yes. Okay. I was having spiritual amnesia. If you can hear the guidance, you're ready, right?
We've been doing this. We've been doing this a minute.
And we did a show. I saw it on the memory on Facebook. I think like 5 years ago, November 3rd, when I was on Blog Talk Radio. And I saw it this morning. I thought I was going to remember, but it was similar to today's topic. What do you want to see? But it was something along what are you willing to release for what you want, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've been at this. And it ain't over yet.
No,
Party's not over.
no, no.
How are you doing?
You know, it's no joke. This moment is no joke. Um, this is the moment to use absolutely everything that we've ever been taught or learned. It is taking everything that I have to stay spiritually grounded. As you mentioned, the elections are going on here in the United States, and my center and my community is very involved right now. We have some Zoom groups that are going to be meeting tonight, and I invite any of the listeners into that. If you go to our social media stuff, or you go to our website, Inner Light Ministries, you'll be able to get those links. There's one Zoom that is meditation and vigil. You know, for those who just want to hold the high watch and get out of the madness, no matter where you are in the world, you know, we invite you to participate. And the other Zoom is going to be for engagement. So there'll be breakout rooms and discussion, and we'll be streaming on half the screen, you know, the election results. If you don't want to do it alone and you want a vibration that's higher than what you're getting now in social media, then we invite you to join. It's going to start at 6 p.m. Pacific time tonight through 11 o'clock Pacific time. We have facilitators on board, people to bring Jamie Lula to help bring us conscious music. And our center will physically be open too. So if there's anybody in the Santa Cruz area that wants to physically be here and we can tap in with the Zoom people too, we invite you to do that. But yeah, you know, it's in the middle of COVID and everything else. It's a moment.
I have to be honest. It's like, I think this morning, I have a lot of thoughts that's been going through my mind. It's like, wow, we can really perceive this as we're getting our behind whooped, or we are the strong ones to usher in this new consciousness. Yeah. And that's what I go for. And as I listen to you talk about what you're doing at Inner Light Ministries, and I always say this is a birthing process. I really did catch that when you were talking. It's like when a mother's giving birth, she wants people that, you know, care about her in the room, the ones who could be, you know, help wipe the sweat, you know, to hold hands. And this is definitely something not to go through alone. I mean, we just need community.
You don't go through it alone, and labor can be painful. It's very, very painful. And sometimes we pay too much attention to the pain and not as much attention to something being birthed.
Yes. And
what I think is important for everybody to remember right now is that we are not victims of this moment. We're not victims. Whether we know it or not, we have actually prayed this moment in. Just breathe that in for a moment. We have prayed this moment in. Those of us who have been praying for global transformation and, you know, sustainability and global citizenship and justice and all of the rest of that. Well, you know what? The only way there is through where you are now. You can only move from where you are. Yes. Feel, deal, heal. Feel, deal, heal. And here we are. You cannot heal what you do not feel. It has been necessary for us to feel this stuff. And to a certain extent, it is a wake-up call. If I say that I want to be sober, I don't just jump from active addiction to sobriety. That's not what happens. there's a period in between. You got to detox. And detox is painful.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't that there aren't more people who want to be clean and sober. They can't make it through detox.
Mm-hmm.
They can't stay away from long enough. The stuff that they've been grasping at and that's been holding them up to have it cleansed out of their system.
Mm-hmm.
There's detox. And there's what they call in the 12-step programs, the fierce inventory. The inventory. Well, you got to take a look at yourself, at what's going on, face it, heal it, and make amends. You got to make amends. And I'm not just talking about some political concept of reparations. I'm talking about amends, where you have to own your stuff. You got to apologize. You got to do some forgiveness. You got to do what you can to make it right. Mm-hmm. You got to do what you can to make it right. I want to share a quick story that just happened. I'm on the board of the directors of the Pachamama Alliance. And it's a group that works with indigenous tribes in the rainforest in the Amazon of Ecuador and Peru to help preserve the sacred headwaters and the rainforest, and then to work with people in the industrialized world to change our evil ways and our consciousness. Mm-hmm. So we live more of an indigenous cosmology in our relationship to the planet. So the chair of the organization, we just had a board meeting. She wasn't able to be there because she was going to her mother-in-law's funeral. And she let us know that on her dying bed, one of the last things that her mother-in-law did was cast her absentee vote ballot. Wow. Yes, this was just a couple of weeks ago. And what she said was that when she met St. Peter's at the pearly gates, she wanted to show him her stub that she had voted, that she had done her part. So when I asked permission, could I use that story in my sermon? She said, yeah, and her husband said, go ahead, gave me her full name, and went to explain that she was born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, one of the seats of the Confederacy, and that she told her children and her grandchildren that it was their responsibility to right the many wrongs. And I felt such something. My mother's the same age, also from the South, Baton Rouge. Growing up, they lived worlds apart. And now they're standing for the same thing. Yeah. You got to do the work to get to the healing. And when you get to the healing, it's not just about you.
Got to get over yourself.
It's not just about you. You got to do right by folks.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to hook onto that with the theme. The topic is, what do you want to see? We're inviting people to really ask themselves, what do they want to see in the world? And I have heard close friends, people that I don't know, give such a great reason why they're not voting. And this is not necessarily, it is what it is, but I just, I mean, it's sometimes so eloquent. It's like, but what I know for sure is we can justify, rationalize There are many points of view to any conversation. There's the other conversation about, well, that's the external world. The only thing that matters is what's happening on the inside. People who, as I was joking earlier, but seriously joking, that I'm spiritual, I don't want to get involved in politics. A part of me feels like this is a too late a question to ask, but I know what is happening. What do you say to that? What do you say to this separation between spirituality and politics and all the other stuff?
So you gave yourself permission to say without the grease.
Yes, Major Shafting.
I'm gonna tell you what I told you years ago, and you had somebody do a sketch of it. You can't turn chicken shit into chicken salad, no matter how much mayonnaise you add. That's a bunch of mayonnaise. Let me. I feel real raw right now. So can I just be like real raw?
Yes, please.
It takes a whole lot of entitlement to talk about you not gonna vote because you don't do politics. That takes a whole lot of entitlement. And what I mean by that is, you know how upset and frustrated you get with people who will not assume any responsibility. Okay?
Yeah.
If you don't do politics, then get up out of here. Because you are enjoying all the stuff of politics. You are enjoying it. Your right to free speech, the transportation systems, the electricity, the water coming through. I can go on and on and on. You are sitting there and enjoying all of the benefits that come from being in an organized society. Politics isn't some strange thing over here. It's just a relationship. That's all that it is. Just like you have a family relationship and you got a work relationship, politics is just our collective relationship. And how we treat each other. Just like you got a family budget, how do you spend the family budget? You don't get to be exempt from paying taxes. You live here. You live here. You live here. You put some money in the kitty. You put some money in the kitty because you're going to eat here.
Right?
You know, it's like every grown person in the house needs to fork up something to pay the bills.
Yes.
It is a question of being grown, of being mature, and being responsible. You are a part of it. To not vote is a vote.
Right. Right.
I'm just, everybody listen. To not vote is a vote. To not vote, to not take action, is to empower the status quo. I don't care what it's about. You can't change anything without a vote. You could be sitting around in your house. If you don't vote to fix the roof, okay.
Right.
It's just going to keep leaking, and one of these days it's just going to leak on you. But to not vote doesn't stop the leak.
Right. Right.
It just leaves the leak. So, you know, if you feel like everything's just fine, peachy, honky-dory, but let me tell you what you're doing. When you don't vote, you're acquiescing your power. When you don't vote, you're giving somebody else your proxy. A proxy is when you abdicate, not abdicate, but when you assign your right to vote to somebody else to vote in your favor. So it isn't that you don't vote. You say, all of you who are voting, you vote for me. You vote for me, and I will accept whatever y'all do. You determine my life for me. You make the decisions for me. You create the world that I'm going to live in. Because I don't think enough about my own voice to use it. I don't think enough about everybody else in the world to use it. You were joking about that earlier, but that's true. The United States is only 5% of the world's population. 5%. We consume 35% of the world's resources. 45 cents of every dollar goes on our military expenditures.
45 cents on every dollar.
On every dollar that's spent in the military in the world is spent by the United States on its own military. And nobody's even close. Anybody else is 4 or 5 cents. We're 45 cents. We have bases in over 120 countries. And it'll be a cold day in hell before there's a foreign base on U.S. soil. Okay. The amount of influence that we wield, and we have to assume responsibility for it. We have to assume responsibility for it. That's the vision that I have. Is where we wake up and assume responsibility for everything. Our personal actions, our collective actions, our ancestors' actions, making sure that things are in place for our future generations, where we are woke. We're woke. Really woke. We are alive. We are engaged. We are civil. We don't have to agree on everything. Yes. But we don't have to be at each other's throat because we don't agree. Work it out. Come, let us reason together, as it says in scripture. Work it out.
You know, I consider myself quite understanding, that I can see different perspective. And there was a part of me that was saying, you know, people said, well, you know, that's just the way the system is. I just got to work on myself. And I'm like, okay, good point. But one of the things you're sharing here for me is, if we look at politics, as you said, like a house, if there's a damage, something wrong with the plumbing system, and I say, I didn't make the damage, but I'm still living in the house, it's going to affect me, as you said about the roof. And my friend here, Jeannie, in the chat room says she's breaking it down. She's breaking it down so clearly in how voting is spirituality. It is taking responsibility. Yeah.
Not only that, but particularly here in the United States, particularly here, it can't be plainer. Our first official document, even before there was a constitution, was the Declaration of Independence. Now, we know it wasn't meant to apply to everybody, But my point is that the whole political system is built upon spiritual principles. We hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men are created equal and endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. You don't get more fundamentally spiritual than that.
Yes.
All of the language in there. And I really hope that people hear what I am saying. It's like, where do you think you get the right to do what you do? We called it a civil rights movement. It wasn't a civil rights movement. It was a spiritual rights movement. It was a movement to say that under the eyes of God, we are all equal. It was a movement that shifted our relationship to one another, saying that we are all equal under the eyes of God. And then if we are all equal, all of this discrimination and whatnot cannot be justified.
That's right.
The laws weren't there to create the equality. The laws were there to confirm and affirm the equality. The laws were there to remove any impediments that were obstructing a pre-existing equality. You can't.
If I had a scarf, I'd throw it at you. What you just said there, it's like I just throw a scarf at you. I see people do it. It's like, ooh, hold on a minute. Yeah.
You show up equal. You start off equal. And the laws are just there to confirm that and to help reinforce that. But this is why the politics get wonky. I really want people to hear what I'm saying. The politics are wonky, not because they're politics. Politics get wonky when they are not standing on spiritual truth. Politics get evil when we do not remember who we are all under the eyes of God. See, actions don't measure goodness or badness. Your actions measure your ignorance. How much do you know that we are all children of God? There's no evil in the world. Evil doesn't exist in the natural world. You take human beings out of the equation, there's no evil. Evil is just what human beings know when they don't remember who they are.
Yes, indeed.
So what I contend to people who say they don't want to be involved, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. That the reason why the politics are so off is because they haven't been graced with your consciousness. Because they lack your prayer. They lack your compassion. Just like people who might be homeless or kids who are at risk youth. It's like they're hanging out there, or people are home because they lack our care. They lack our support. The politics deteriorates when we withdraw from it, when we don't seed it with our sense of justice and fairness. And these folks are talking about spiritual. I don't know what spirituality they're doing. I was raised fundamentalist, evangelical, charismatic, Pentecostal in the Holiness Church of God in Christ. My Jesus. Now, I don't know about these other people's Jesus that are supporting you know who in this election. I don't know their Jesus,
right?
But my Jesus, my Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God and all of its righteousness, and all things shall be added. Righteousness, literal translation is justice. Justice. This kingdom of God, of God, it would be the kingdom that is inspired. And remember, the kingdom, see, we don't have absolute monarchs, so we don't have an appreciation for this. But a kingdom is a jurisdiction in which all of the subjects are provided for. That there are rules and laws that govern and take care of all of them. And within the kingdom, everybody's relative position to one another is defined. Everybody's got a role, so to speak. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. That's the relational piece. And the action of that is to bring that heaven on earth with all of its justice, and then everything else be added. So I don't know. I don't know where people are getting this. Everything Jesus did was political.
Okay. Yes.
He was up against them all the time. The politics of the church, the politics of the state, the politics of society. He was not apolitical.
Just let that land. My friend Jeannie said she's dropping too much knowledge not to quote. She's like retyping the things you're saying. Like, let me put this here so I can remember. So, God forbid, literally, another 4 years of Trump administration. And something I had a thought this morning that when Biden wins, that people may be tempted to go, whew, that was close. So in the context of what do we want to see righting the wrong, what do we need to know to amplify the spirituality of the political system in the world, in America, in the world?
Yeah. What we need to know is who we are as spiritual beings. In some respects, this has absolutely nothing to do with Biden or Trump. Trump is a caricature. He's exploiting and riding the wave of something that already existed. He was completely outside of politics and the Republican Party. Okay? But he's smart when it comes to marketing.
Yes.
And selling ideas. Now, he can't make a profit to save his life. But it's like he gets what can be exploited. And the repetition of it and ideas and what moves people and all of the rest of that. He'll say stuff he doesn't even believe.
Yes. That's why I say he never said it.
Because he knows that if you believe it, he can manipulate you with that, and you will act like in his favor.
Right.
What we have to understand is that this is it. You said earlier that this may be the beginning of a new era or a new chapter. In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Part of the reason why we're here is because there's a chapter that's never ended.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
The United States is really representative so much of our collective consciousness. And we are a house divided against itself. And we have been that way since the beginning of trying to maintain dual systems of trying to have a system where some people have all rights and some people have no rights.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we literally built a constitution like that, built a constitution that within the first few sentences recognizes that there are people who will never be free and builds a whole economy around that.
Right.
Okay. Our challenge now is to envision a new world. It isn't that the system broke down. This is the system.
Right. Right.
This is it. We've been playing kick the can down the street. The quote unquote founding fathers knew that slavery had to come down one day, but they kept it in order to keep the Union. Like, y'all can do it over here, but you can't do it over here. The Civil War didn't end that. We are still here. When Barack Obama first got elected as president, there was an overlay of the states that voted for him with the map of 1850, pre-Civil War. It was the same map of slave and free states. There's a certain consciousness. And I'm not trying to demonize like everybody who was in a former like slave state. What I am talking about, though, is a collective consciousness where we are torn against ourselves. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we really, really, really have to come to grips with this. The work hasn't even begun to happen yet. The election doesn't even start the process of the work. It's going to have to happen with us, the people, where we stop dismissing one another.
Yes.
So you have the red saying, you know, what you people are doing blue, you know, that's not our America. And the blue people looking at the red people and saying, that's not our America. It's all our America. You made a joke earlier when you talked about your evil twin. That's what it's like in us as a collective body as well. Mm-hmm. We have shadow sides.
Yes.
We have stuff that needs to be cleared up and cleaned up. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, the reason why we haven't gotten any further, we're trying to harvest fruit from seeds that were never planted. We've never had the fertile soil. You asked me before, did I get any spirit messages about this? And I'm reminding some of the spirit messages, these aren't published, but with those spirit letter, it was making the difference between a notion, an idea, a concept, and a belief. And it said in order for something to move from a concept, to move from an idea to a real concept, it's got to be conceived. And it said all your stuff about justice and liberty, it's still just an idea. Maybe a notion, but these are seeds that have not found fertile ground yet.
Yeah.
They are not concepts with which you can build on. They are not working, living, conceptual principles for you yet. They are still lofty ideas. And they'll never become your core beliefs until they can at least become a concept.
And that starts with us. We've got to live it. We've got to demonstrate it, not saying what the leaders need to do. They have their own ideas that they're working through. All right. I know we're finishing early today.
Can I say something, though?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the people who are saying, I need to do my own inner work, I can't be bothered with the politics. To a certain extent, I want to affirm you. Yes, you need to do your own inner work. Because anything that we see in the collective is just the individual supersized.
Yes.
We couldn't have a Trump if there weren't all of these people who thought the way that they think.
That's right.
Backing him up.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we have to do our own individual. But the mistake that we make is thinking that your energy field stays within you somewhere. Like you are an individual entity. You are not an individual entity. You are an individualized expression of the only thing that is. So everything that happens within you resonates and emanates out into the broader collective. I'm not asking you to get into the streets in March. What I'm asking you is don't separate out the collective from your private consciousness, your personal consciousness, because it ain't even private. So when you do your prayers, pray for us. When you do your prayers, pray for the nation. When you are envisioning possibility and prosperity and health, do it for everybody. That's what my Jesus said. He said, pray the our prayer. Give us our bread. Forgive us our trespasses. Lead and guide us, because we are brothers and sisters of one another.
Us is even beyond religion, just in case somebody was kind of stuck there.
We're one.
That's right.
Not we one.
Right.
We're one.
So I'm looking at the time, and I really want you to speak to this. And I have two questions. I'm going to collapse them into one.
Okay. So
the second part of the question is, what would you suggest we do as we move through this day, November 3rd, 2020? And the other thing is, this past Sunday, your sermon, oh my God, that it was what? No place is wondrous than another.
No place is more wondrous.
More wondrous. And it spoke to how right now it's just as wonderful for whatever I think is going to happen 10 years from now. And I can imagine that there are those of us wishing, hoping that a better day will come. Can you speak to that in the way that you do? But I think when I heard it's like, I know I needed to hear that. Because there's a part of me looking like, okay, maybe November 3rd, Trump will be out and things. I was looking to the day to come. But right now, it's just wonderful, wondrous, and powerful right now.
Yes.
So I just throw it to you.
Yes. The grass is not greener. Every moment is just as wondrous as another. There's not more anything anyplace else. It's just, what do you activate now? What do you see? This is what I ask you to do. is choose where you focus your attention. Because the universe only says yes. And there's going to be plenty of evidence to prove whatever it is that you think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what it is. You know, if you're a straight woman looking for a man and you've got it in your mind, you know, ain't no good men out there. You know, they all running around and cheating. You know what? You're going to find that.
Mm-hmm.
If your attitude is, you know what? There are many really good, noble, and family loving and, you know, strong in their community, you know, men out there who are good role models, you're going to see them. Mm. It isn't that you ignore one or the other. You get to choose what you vibrate with. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like you can be in the room with all of the kids. You see them, you're watching over them, but you don't have to resonate with their 4-year-old arguments. You don't have to get down there with them pulling the toys. You know, you get to choose where you resonate.
Yes.
Okay. And I tell you, we have a virtual engagement going on now for this very purpose. Hashtag Visions Igniting. Hashtag Visions Igniting, where we're just asking people, just stop for a moment with all the stuff you don't want and share a little bit about what you do want. What do you want today? What do you want? What do you want? Because when you're voting or what, you're not just voting for people, you're voting for ideas and concepts that they represent. Yes. So what is your highest vision of immigration? What's your highest vision of education? What's your highest vision of healthcare and, you know, prosperity and policing in the neighborhood? You know, what do you see? Because I am telling you now, I'm a veteran of many movements. And we didn't get to progress. We didn't get to things like marriage equality sitting around talking about homophobia.
Right.
That's not how we got here. You know, women didn't get to where they are now sitting around just complaining about all what men do. Is you stand in your power. You stand in your power. And I'm going to tell you, I am excited. I am so excited in this moment because I had been wondering for years, when were we going to wake up out of our complacency? When were we going to smell the coffee and realize that we're in a relationship with one another?
Yes. Yes.
And to act like it and to care for it. Over 100 million people have already voted. 100 million people. Wow. They have stood in lines. They in the weather, in the heat, in the rain, and they're doing it. 100 million people. And not only that, I am seeing unification like I have never seen before. I have never seen people from the opposite party supporting the other candidate.
Right.
I have never seen so many people, true patriots, for all of the stuff that the progressive blue folks are talking about. The heroism I have seen are on the part of the Republicans. Those ones who have stood up and, I mean, put it all on the line. Put their careers on the line. their reputations on the line, their social relationship, all on the line to speak the truth. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We have allies like I have never seen us have allies before. It's off the chart. Giuliani's daughter, John McCain's wife, all of these people who are choosing democracy over partisanship, choosing democracy over party. I'm telling you now, we are in, yes, a moment of divisiveness like we've never seen, but we are also in a moment, an extraordinary moment of unification in ways I've never seen before. Can we affirm this breakthrough moment? Can we affirm this moment where the eyes of the world are looking upon the United States? And we're stepping up to the plate and making our voices heard. So for all of you who've done your civic duty, for all of you who've gone to the polls, I say thank you. For all of you who are doing everything that you can today to make sure that everybody gets to the polls, or that the polls are safe, I say thank you. Keep the high watch. Keep the high watch. Keep speaking truth into power, and power into truth. Share your highest visions. Share your hopes, your dreams. Share the possibilities that you know and that you see and that you believe in. All of that recalibrates us. We live in an energy field. We are energetic beings. So I'm asking you now to not just walk around like an entity that life is happening to or life is happening at, but to realize that you are a place and a space. Life is happening through you. Life is happening as you. You are more powerful than you could ever imagine. Now's the time. Bring your A game. Bring your most grounded spiritual awareness. Bring your widest, most open heart and greatest forgiveness. The world needs you now. The world needs you now. The world needs all of us right now. Just breathe that in for a moment. The world needs you. The world needs us right now. I want to say thank you to my brother Ade for this opportunity to be on the show. I'm going to do just a little check-in with him right now. I think we might be having just a couple of technical difficulties. And I want to thank all of you for supporting him as well. I know some of you have been listening to his shows for a very long time. Please, as we say in my ministry, Inner Light, take this consciousness and multiply it. Share this, share other shows that he's had, podcasts. There's a lot of good stuff here, a lot of very extraordinary guests that he's had. And let's let this information that we're hearing and the things that you're chatting to each other right now, let it find a resting place in your heart. Let it take root. Let it take root so it can grow and blossom into such sweet, 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 sweet fruit. Yes. Let's just breathe that in. Let's all breathe that in. So our day's trying to get back on. I have another call that I need to jump on, but I'm going to stay on here and hopefully he will come back in enough time to still be able to engage with you. I certainly know that if you don't know Ade personally and have never had a chance to have a coaching session with him, you know, he is a life coach. It's something that you want to think about. It's something that you really want to consider because he's a man with a wealth of experience. He's had many challenges, many things that he has gone through and come out on the other side. I'm pleased to have been by his side doing a lot of his growth and transition through the years. So I know he's tried, tested, and true. And he's somebody that you can look up to in those moments when you're needing a little insight or some consciousness that you can lean on. Definitely. Well, I know that here he is. Yay. You made it back.
Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm in there now. You can hear me.
Yes.
Can you hear me, FD?
I hear you.
Okay, good. So, right, I got my old phone because my computer just shut down, but I was hearing you that you're still here running the show. Anyway, what happened? Did I just lose you? I hope not.
Yeah.
You're still there, right?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm about to sign out.
Yes, I know you gotta go. Thank you very much, Rev D. I love you. Thank you for hosting the show for me. Thank you for all the words that you shared about me. I'm like, look at God.
There it is. You gave me a chance to spiritually gossip about you.
That's right. That's right. And you know, it's funny because I was just thinking when you told me you only could stay for 60 minutes, I was like, oh man. But I tell you, as we're coming close, I was like, whoo, I'm full. And then my computer said, me too.
All right. You take care.
All right. Love you, Rev D.
Love you too.
All right. Bye. I think you're going to have to leave. Yeah, I can't control the studio from here. Anyway, people, yeah, what can I say? I had to get my old phone working and trying to get a code to log into my own. Anyway, Rev D said it all. The only thing I just want to add is we must remember that everything is a representation of consciousness. Everything is representing consciousness. So whether you're, as Rev D was saying earlier, you're a Biden follower or Trump's follower, it's representing consciousness. You got to do the inner work. You got to do the inner work as well as the outer work. It's connected, it's not separate. So I had some other stuff that were flowing, but during this technical opportunity, it's like I'm sort of blank. Anyway, I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, and I thank God for you. And, keep hope alive. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. This is not a rehearsal. This is showtime. I don't know what I need to tell you. I'm going to be on the call today. Well, on the event that Rev D's hosting. I may even be facilitating one of the sessions. I will share some information on social media later on, Facebook, Instagram. And if you need to be with some people while you're watching the news, then it's a place to be. To find out more about Rev D, is DeborahLJohnson.org, DeborahLJohnson.org. And Inner Light Ministries, I encourage you to go to Inner Light Ministries. Rev D sharing is hosting a lot of different classes. Let's see. Okay, just want to make sure that I can see what's going on here. Oh, thank God for God. Rev D's teaching a lot of different classes. Check it out. I was going to play John's song, but let me see if I can do it, because it just makes sense to play the song. Yeah, I can do that. Just know that you have what it takes. You are the one. Once again, I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, and I thank God for you. Check out my website, adelove.co, adelove.co, not .com, .co. Let's work together. Let's grow together. Let's create together. The time is now. And we're going to release the conversation, the show with my brother, John Stringer. You are welcome here. And I want you to know that the light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. And the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is. God is not out there. God is right where you are. You are the place where God gets to represent itself. And God only gets to do what God wants to do. God doesn't want anything. But God does whatever you want God to do for you. If you wanting, needing, desiring, God does it through you. And welcome yourself home. Peace and blessings, beautiful people. Let's see if I can get...
There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allowing unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that's around you. All that you feel, all that you know, let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light